Yep. Okay. Yep.
Who is in the 25 pit? Can they check and see if he's bounced that thing off the wall?
I think
the right side of that.
Go ahead and open my mic. I can tell them.
Are you guys hearing you, Mike?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so I was trying to sell that, and about 10 laps ago, he did brush the wall. They told him...
I saw it when you stopped, Hog. You're exactly right.
They told him to take a deep breath and keep going. He never lost a position, but he did put it up against the wall.
So we need to see the right side of that car. Note that he's damaged the machine and get the report from Hogwood if we can.
I saw that when he stopped.
No, I was just making a point to you, Ben. I was just making a point about what I said in my opening whip.
Which is?
If they don't beat themselves, they could win.
They do, yeah. Trying to look out the window here and see where everybody's at. There's the 18 and the 8. Long ways back to third. He's got a long ways to fourth. He's got a long ways to fifth.
Yeah,
but he saw it on the pit stop.
He made the pit stop.
If you've got the pit stop on a replay, it was pretty visible. And at this point, everything's fairly well spaced out among the cars that are on the lead lap.
Yeah.
Wow. That wasn't spaced out.
Those were the two from happy hour yesterday.
Yep.
A driver that left and a driver in the game.
That's right.
Yep.
The right side of the car.
Back at Lowe's Motor Speedway, Charlotte, some 175,000 on hand to see the 41st running of the Coca-Cola 600. And we are delighted to bring it to you live on Superstation TBS. Riding with the race leader, Bobby Labonte, had not led all night, but went down pit road second to Dale Earnhardt Jr. at lap number 221. Jr. stopped. Bobby had stopped about 3 laps earlier. And when the exchange of pit stops was over, Labonte was leading. This was about March 12th back in Atlanta. Bobby had won a couple of weeks earlier at Rockingham and almost beat the 7-time Winston Cup champion on a track that a lot of folks consider to be very similar to this one. 1.5 miles, the quad oval, the double dog leg, the whole thing. The shapes of the corners are a little bit different, but Labonte certainly has been, I think fair to say, his best tracks have been at the Charlottes and Atlantas and those 1.5 mile, 2 mile tracks. There's Dale Earnhardt running in 4th position. Looking at some who've been moving up and some who've been sliding back in the middle stages of the event. Chad Little moved up 11 positions. Bobby Labonte 9th to 1st. Matt Kenseth, we documented his terrific run, and Rusty Wallace trying to overcome not 1, but 2 pit road speeding penalties early in the event, and has moved himself back to 6th position. Now sliding back, Tony Stewart. His car handling deteriorating rapidly. He's back to 12th position. Wally Dollarback, Robert Presley, Sterling Marlin. They have been struggling in the center section of this race. There's Presley, we showed him earlier, fighting to keep that thing off the wall.
That close.
He's had a wild night, Robert Presley has. He's been all over the racetrack just trying to hang on to that thing.
I don't even like riding with him with a camera in the car. You know it's got to be bothering him.
Circuit City telemetry in Presley's car. And you could just hear by the onboard microphone there, he's out of the throttle a long time in the corners.
Yeah, you can see right there, he's out of the throttle, and Nadeau just goes by him like a bullet. Now they go down the corner. Watch how Nadeau just drives away from him as he goes up the racetrack and right against the wall.
Oh, that is no fun at any speed.
Especially when you're only halfway into this thing. Now, Jerry Nadeau that we just saw go by led so much of this event earlier in the evening. He's led 100 of the 236 laps. But when he came down pit road for his service just a few laps ago, Buddy's eagle eye caught something there a little funny on the right side of the car.
Well, the biggest thing I noticed is the right side of that car is, well, I understand that Mike Hogwood has the report on the 25. Let's go down and hear what's wrong.
So, Buddy, just before he came in for that pit stop, he brushed up against the wall. It was a scary moment for the entire team, and especially for the driver, Jerry Nadeau. Now his crew chief, Tony Burris, says, take a deep breath. We're going to be okay. They had a great pit stop. He didn't lose any position. He is running 3rd.
You saw when the car came by the frame there, buddy, that the right side paint not as pristine as it was before.
Yeah, it was pretty well damaged, but the good part was the tires didn't have any damage. It was all sheet metal.
There's the leader, Bobby Labonte. 237 laps in to 400 that make up the Coca-Cola 600 in Charlotte. We're coming right back. Yeah, I understand. He's just hit the all-call button, but you finish your point, then we'll follow up with the pit report. On some of the guys just outside the top 10, we haven't talked about Jeff Burton or Mark Martin in a while. Martin had been up there in the top 5, and he's fallen back to 12th. Yeah. Yep.
Is that Bobby Labonte just in front of him?
Junior? No.
No.
Yep. Oop.
What? Sound like Darrell.
They're asking their spotters around the racetrack.
About rain?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Smoking.
How you doing, mate?
That's Charlie Moore. That's my insurance man there in the black.
Looking down on Lowe's Motor Speedway, Charlotte, getting reports that the rain is right about on top of the racetrack. You ride with the race leader, Bobby Labonte, as he cycles down the back straightaway. Here's our Napa Field summary. Look at the rundown after 243 of the 400 laps. Lead lap 15 of the 43 starters. Only 3 cars not on the racetrack at the moment. Scott Pruitt, Ricky Craven, and Bill Elliott's machine all retired from the event. On board with Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's fallen now 1.5 seconds behind leader Bobby Labonte. Mike Hogwood has an update on his car.
I think probably for the first time since he's been here at Charlotte in his car, he's actually complained a little bit about it. Says the car has gotten a whole lot worse. It's really loose on the racetrack. And as Tony Eury Sr. does so often and so calmly, he just says, hang in there.
What else do you tell him to do at this
There's
point?
not much you can tell him to do. Right now, Junior's a 1.5 seconds behind Labonte, and the thing that surely is worrying him is that view through the windshield that you just saw, those heavy black clouds just to the north of the racetrack. Boy, it won't take much before those things open up, and that could be the end of it here tonight.
He's closing on it, though. Dale Jr.'s closed the last couple laps.
You're exactly right. And the reason he's doing that, I think he did calm down when they called him and said, listen, just drive your race. We'll fix it when you get in here. And sometimes when you slow down, you actually go faster because you don't abuse the tires.
Tony Stewart in the 20 is a lap down.
NASCAR has spotters placed all around the racetrack watching for debris and things like that. And right now there's a lot of radio communication from the race director, David Hoots, to a lot of the spotters around the racetrack asking if there's any rain falling.
Well, we haven't seen any in the windshield so far, but it's looking really ugly.
So far, the reports have come back. Well, now they've come back positive. Caution.
Wow,
There it is. Caution for rain. The skies have just opened up. Caution for rain at lap 246.
Whoa, and they did open.
It's amazing. You know, NASCAR has got so much experience doing this. They've been through this situation so many times. How they just had people around who knew when the weather was getting close enough that it began to be a concern.
Yeah, and did you see Tony Stewart got his lap back?
I don't.
Let him go.
Yeah, they just radioed in and said he didn't beat Bobby.
Didn't beat him
to the start-finish line, so he's going to have to go back. I think by the time Bobby found out it was Tony that was right behind him, it was too late. He was already at the start-finish line. And with the rain, he wasn't, and us being past halfway, he wasn't going to back off and let Stewart go by and take a chance on letting Dale Jr. beat him to the stripe, certainly.
Exactly right.
Well, this stuff's been hanging around for most of the night, this weather has, and it's finally just creased the edge of the Speedway. Not much on the windshield of the car, as you see there, but we did see that shot up into the lights by where all the spotters are standing on the roof next to us, and there were some very thick drops pelting down there. Jerry Nadeau running third behind Bobby Labonte and Dale Earnhardt Jr. at this point. Let's get an update on his car from pit road.
They are hoping it rains in the worst way. They have developed a miss in the motor. They think it might be a valve spring.
The leaders have pitted under the caution for rain when the race is past halfway. This is interesting. Bobby Labonte, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in. Matt Kenseth in. Trying to see if anyone has stayed on the racetrack to try and maybe slip one away. Kevin LePage stayed out. He is the last car on the lead lap.
Nadeau stayed out.
Mike Hogwood.
Well, they're taking 4 tires in fuel. The motor stopped. He missed on the motor, and what a tough break for Bobby Labonte, making that maybe questionable decision to come on pit road. We will check with Jimmy Makar in just a moment as to what's behind the decision.
Earnhardt Jr. beating Labonte off pit road, but they're going to be behind Jerry Nadeau, who has stayed on the racetrack under the caution flag for rain.
Well, the crew chiefs know what's going on weather-wise, too. They watch the radar. That's a calculated risk, though, to pit at this time.
I can remember a couple of races in recent history being stolen in the rain. Most prominently in my mind, Darrell Waltrip at Darlington was not the fastest car. He wound up getting the win in the Southern 500. Dave Marcus at Richmond, 1982. We'll see what happens with the weather when we come back to Charlotte in just a minute. Stay with us. Yeah, I forgot about that one.
Everybody's a lap down here is coming in, so
right out.
I think they just made a huge mistake myself.
Well, maybe so.
That depends if the rain sets in.
I don't think he's setting in. I see light spots around.
Well, we need to discuss that. We need to have an opinion. Did he make a mistake? Did he not? What did he do?
Well,
hello, Hogs.
That's the story I'm going to tell Jimmy Makar. He says that they've looked at the radar, and it looks like then that it's not going to stop the race for long if it does stop it. And if they didn't pit, they would be behind when the race went green again anyway.
Yeah, he got penalized.
Yep.
They're making another adjustment to that shock there, Artie. He got penalized for speeding leaving pit road. He was going to have to go to the end of the line anyway. So
they just don't work for a while. Why not?
That's another adjustment to that shock.
Yeah, but you got the luxury of precaution. Go ahead and fix it.
It's running pretty good down there.
Do we have somebody with Tony Furr, Ben? Nadeau's crew chief?
Burton also didn't pit, did he? 99.
Hey, Marty.
Okay, Jeff Burton did not stop either.
Okay, you with Frankie?
Yes.
Let's talk to Frankie. I'd love to hear from Frank. And Burton's and Nadeau's crew chief also. And Hogwood is with the 18, right? 99. He's in the 99 pit. Next Sunday night on the Superstation, as a 60s hipster secret agent, Mike Myers stars as Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery. It's a world broadcast premiere next Sunday, 8 Eastern Time, only on the Superstation. Well, we've got quite an interesting scenario playing out here in the Coca-Cola 600 as you look down on Lowe's Motor Speedway from the Circuit City aerial platform. We're under the caution for rain. 2 cars stayed on the racetrack, Jerry Nadeau and Jeff Burton. The leaders, Bobby Labonte and Dale Earnhardt Jr., and the other lead lap cars all came in for tires and fuel under this yellow for rain. Let's go down to pit road to Mike Hogwood.
Well, let's get the answer for the reason to come down on pit road during this rain caution from crew chief Jimmy Makar.
Well, actually, we've got people watching the weather all around the racetracks on radar screens and up on top of the roof of the stands. And what I'm being told is that this shower is just going to be a light one. It's probably going to stay north of us, and it's clear in behind it. So we're figuring and hoping that the rain's going to be a light shower. It's going to get away. We're going to go back green flag racing. And if we do that, then everybody that didn't take tires in pit right now is going to have to come back in and get their tires and put them in behind traffic. So we're we're gambling that we're going to go back green again, and we're going to be able to be out front when it gets started.
That's the strategy here in the 18th pit.